Now, if it's been a minute since you and your partner have had sex, then watch this video. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's been a minute for me too. And last week I was chatting with a close friend of mine who just had a baby. And, she confessed, I don't even feel like a sexual being anymore. I'm just a milk machine. And her husband basically haven't had sex since the baby has been born, which I'm sure is very common, but they don't want their relationship to be like that. Intimacy is very important to them. But it's been so long now that it's become a thing. You know what I mean? A thing that they're almost scared to do and talk about. Honestly, like I said, even in my own long-term relationship with Gab, my boyfriend, we've had seasons, some longer than others, where life gets so loud. So work, travel, stress, just pure laziness sometimes, that we realize, wait, when was the last time we actually had sex? Now, if you're new here, hello, my name is Ali, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm just a student of pleasure. Literally, I am studying sex education with the Sexual Health Alliance, and a lot of us are trying to figure this stuff out. And I'm just learning alongside you with the things that I'm learning in school and the resources that I'm accumulating. I'm sharing this knowledge with you. So hopefully it will help you in your own life at home. Now, I started diving into this book called Love Worth Making: How to Have Ridiculously Great Sex in Long-Lasting Relationships by Stephen Snyder for two reasons. First, because so many of you do come to my channel looking for answers to these exact blocks. Ali, I haven't had sex in a while due to XYZ. What should I do? I always want to find the best research out there to help you. But second, because I'm also in a long-term relationship, I'm also trying to figure this out just like you are. Now, what I love about this book is how it just shifts your perspective. I really highly recommend giving it a read. Snyder says we need to stop looking at sex like a mechanical act and start looking at what's actually happening in our biology and our brains, which is something that we do not do enough of. Why is this happening? What is the science behind it? Because again, it's you're not crazy, you're not weird, there's not something wrong with you. This is something very normal that happens. And there are scientific reasons to explain the why. And when you understand the why, then you can put actions into place to improve your situation. Now, why does that spark fade? In the book, he describes your sexual self as a toddler. It's primal and emotional. You can't force a toddler to have fun, and you can't force your body to feel desire if it doesn't feel safe or interested. But why does that spark fade in the first place? Reason number one is the neurochemical trade-off. So in the beginning of your relationship, your brain is flooded with dopamine. I know you know what I'm talking about. It's the novelty chemical, right? You meet someone, you're excited. We talk about this stuff all the time, the butterflies in the tummy, you're so excited to see them. As soon as you're around them, you get hard, you get wet. It's just crazy. It's like a drug. But as a relationship matures, your brain switches to oxytocin, which is the bonding chemical. It feels safe and warm and fuzzy, but it isn't electric like dopamine. Now, one is not better than the other. They are just different. Reason number two is something interesting that I learned in school, which is called the Coolidge Effect. So this is a biological phenomenon where our brains respond less to the same familiar stimulus over time. So if we don't introduce variety, your brain starts to see sex as a routine task instead of a sexy adventure. And number three, I talk about this a lot, spontaneous versus responsive desire. Most of us wait for desire to hit us like a lightning bolt, right? Spontaneous. It's that feeling, again, when you first start seeing someone, you look at them and you're just sex, I want to F you. And your sex is always on your mind. You're instantly wet, you're in the mood. But in long-term relationships, desire is often responsive. So it only shows up after you start the physical connection. And if you're waiting for that lightning bolt to strike before you touch, you might be waiting forever. Now, again, I want to remind you, these are scientific facts that have been studied. Okay, you're fine, you're normal, nothing is wrong with you if you've been going through a dry spell. It's important to understand these things because these things will help you get out of it. Now, before we get into 3 specific techniques to fix this, I just want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon community. So if you like these deep dives, Patreon is where things get a little bit more exclusive. So I share a lot of behind the scenes content there of my sexual education journey, also my travels, my sexplorations, and so on. So if you want more personal access and to support this channel's mission to normalize pleasure, then check out the link in the description. I'd love to see you over there. Now, now that we know the science behind what's going on, your dry spell, and why maybe you're not having sex as much as you used to, let's talk about 3 techniques that I learned from this book and other sources as well, other vetted sources that can help you get out of this dry spell. So the first one is called naked presence. So this first shift is one of the simplest and also one of the hardest. Now I want you to make time not to have sex. I know, sit with me for a minute. I know that sounds counterintuitive. I'm basically just talking about lying in bed next to each other naked with a 0 agenda, no goal, no expectation, okay? You are taking the pressure off having sex. You are just there. You are paying attention to your body and your partner without trying to change anything. When I first read this, I thought, okay, I personally love lying in bed naked with my partner. I mean, we lie in bed naked most of the time together. But for many who aren't used to this, I know this can be incredibly uncomfortable. Why? It's because we're so used to nudity needing to go somewhere. Like, oh, you're both naked in bed together, so I guess we should have sex. We're supposed to have sex. But that's the point, right? When there's no pressure to perform, so taking that, we're naked, we need to have sex. When you take that out of the narrative, your nervous system can finally drop down from fight or flight into rest and digest. And what happens when the body feels relaxed, real arousal actually has space to come back in. So you just lie in bed naked, you talk about each other's days, play with the hair a little bit, touch the skin, and see what comes up. Don't look at your phones, put some music if you want. You could stay silent, but just sit in that space, okay? If you wanna learn more about how he impacts this, again, get the book. Technique number 2 is called Sensate focus. Now, this wasn't developed by Snyder. This is actually something that dates back from the 60s, okay? It is a very old classic technique developed by Masters and Johnson, who are basically the pioneers of sex research. Now, in their research way back when, they found that people struggle when they are spectatoring. So basically watching themselves perform instead of being in the moment. This is called performance anxiety. There's all this pressure, and then you start acting weird, and then you can't feel like yourself, and you have trouble giving and receiving pleasure. It's just a mess. So instead of adding more moves, we are going to remove the goal of sex entirely. That's what Sensate focuses. This is what they study. No orgasm, no genitals, just touch. So you set a timer for 15 minutes. Now you can be clothed or unclothed. It doesn't really make a difference. But again, no genitals, no obvious erogenous zones. So yeah, going back, set the timer for 15 minutes. One person touches, the other just focuses on what they feel. And like I said, stay on the neutral zone. So arms, hands, shoulders, legs, little angel touches. You could do little dabs. The point is to communicate to your partner as well. Oh, do you like that? Obviously, if the person doesn't like it, you try something different. But really, the goal here is no pressure to react. Just notice what feels good, what feels neutral, what doesn't feel so great, and then switch. So the point of this exercise is to bring you out of your head and back into feeling your body. Technique number 3 is probably my favorite. I read about it in this book and I'm owning this technique. I think it's great. It's called taking pleasure for yourself. So you're moving from giving pleasure to someone to taking pleasure. A lot of us get stuck in this service mode. Let's say, for example, you're going down on your partner, on a woman. So you're eating her kitty and you have this mindset of giving her pleasure. You want to do a good job. You want to give her pleasure. But when you're focused so much on their experience and how they're feeling, you're actually super disconnected from your own. So taking pleasure is about being a little bit selfish, but in a really good way. So instead of thinking, okay, I'm going down on her, I want to make her feel good, I want to give her pleasure, am I doing a good job? Is she feeling good? Think about it like this. Oh my God, she tastes so good. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm loving hearing her sounds. I love getting her going. It's making me more excited. It's making me want to do a better job. Oh, she really likes this. I can get her feedback. It's turning me on so much. I'm going to keep doing this. Do you see that little difference in script? So next time you're being intimate, don't do it in the mindset of giving pleasure to someone else. Do it to turn you on. So for example, when I go down on my partner, obviously I want to make him feel good, but I focus on the pleasure I am getting out of giving him a nice, sloppy, BJ, because I love giving sloppy BJs. I truly enjoy it. When I see them get all revved up, it turns me on. And I'm enjoying his body for the sake of my own fun. And you know what? He enjoys it so much more because he can feel that I'm actually in it with him. So when both people are taking pleasure, it creates more connection, not less. Also, when you focus on the taking, you're gonna have a lot more fun. Now, if you've reached this point in the video and you're like, okay, all those sound great, but I don't know, I still feel like I'm hitting a brick wall. Like, I wanna try these things, they sound great, but I still need some help. That's when I would recommend seeing a sex therapist or a coach. I see a sex therapist, it's probably one of the best investments I have ever made. It is so liberating talking to someone who is sex positive that you could share like all your dirty little freaky thoughts with zero judgment. It's very refreshing. Now, the difference between a sex therapist and a sex coach is that a therapist is a licensed professional who helps you look more at your past, like trauma or deep-seated anxieties that are perhaps getting in the way of your sex life. And a coach is more of a hands-on action taker. They're a little bit more hands-on and they help you look at your future more. So giving you more like practical homework to change your habits today. Now, both are incredible resources. And again, there is zero shame in getting help. If you want to improve your sex life, like reach out to the resources that are available to you because it's not just going to happen like that. Because, you know, sex is a skill that we cultivate. We're not born knowing how to navigate a dry spell, and it happens to almost everybody. And we're also embarrassed to talk about it because you should just be like horny all the time and want to have sex all the time, especially if you are in a relationship with someone, you should be having sex all the time. Like, it doesn't make sense. You both love each other. Like, if you're not having sex, and oh my God, like you must be so unhappy. Like, what's going on? Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of relationships that don't end up working out because sex is an issue, but it's also because people are lacking the information, the knowledge, the resources on how to improve their situations with themselves and with their partner. It's a complicated, friends, but what I can say is be patient with yourself, be patient with your partner, and most importantly, be curious. Now leave a me too in the comments if you've ever felt out of rhythm. It happens to everybody. Let's normalize the seasons of our sex lives. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Je vous aime.